So what we're going to want to do here first, the Bastiodon's over here, we're going to need him, but we're actually going to need to get past a few obstacles first. First of which is we're going to want to go over here, grab this Pupitar for its Crush 2, because if you remember there was a Crush 2 blocking us, and that's actually blocking us from getting back to where we were. So you'd either want to use the Curlia to get back, or just use the Pupitar. The Pupitar is definitely the easier of the two options. Oh, you're going to hurt me. There we go. He'll always charge in the direction he's facing, so you can keep that in mind for easily dodging his attack as well. So, will you stop hitting my line against your body? Okay, well, he'll roughly the direction. You're just still gonna hit me, aren't you? Nope, okay. I guess I just take it back. It's not, I mean, I guess it's hard to tell. There's only so many ways the guy can look, but it'll be roughly in that direction. I'm just not doing well at capturing this Pupitar this time. Just because it does move fairly quickly in between its moves, so ironically, it's right when he finishes a move that he's the most vulnerable, so keep that in mind. Capture him during that. Anyway, what we need to do now is actually use the Pupitar to get back. So once again, Crush 2 meets Pupitar's face. So he'll get through here, and then there's actually another area we can go up right here, to our right over here. You can see the light over there. So we're actually gonna go ahead and grab the Drifblim that's over here and head up there. We can't actually get the thing that's up there right now. Well, there is actually one thing we can get up there, but we can't get the major thing that's up there, unfortunately, because we don't have the Pokemon ability to do so, but it'll be something we're gonna have to actually backtrack in the future. Which is kind of annoying, because you actually literally have to backtrack here at some point, and it's just kind of like, really? I have to backtrack all the way here. Really? But yeah, unfortunately you do. Just to capture a certain Pokemon at a certain point. But we will do that at some point, but today is not that day. Today is the day we use Elevate and see exactly why we can't get the Pokemon up here that we need. And that is because, like I said, blue is Psi 1, okay, yellow is Psi 2. It's blue is Psi 1, yellow is Psi 2, so that door was yellow, and red is Psi 3. Unfortunately, as far as I can think of, we don't have access to any Pokemon that has a Psi 3 power. Now. We will actually really soon, though. But for now, we can't. So unfortunately, that door stays closed. There is a Pokemon behind that we can capture to add to our browser. It doesn't really have any major purpose. It's just basically to add it to our browser. But that'll be something that happens at another time. For now, we go ahead and capture an Umbreon, our first evolution. We're actually going to kind of capture many evolutions as we go, and they're actually fairly important for stuff in the future. This also has access to Cut 3, which is nice to have, but unfortunately we don't really have the slot for it. We're actually going to come back and get this Cut 3 at some point and be able to use that to explore, although I think by then we'll actually have access to other Cut 3s anyway. And the only Cut 3s that are really important is to basically get rid of that one tree blocking the Chroma Road, which we can go around anyway. And then there's the tree in the Vien Forest, but we need to tackle 4 to get the Pokemon that's blocking off anyway. So really, the Cut 3 right now is useless. We'll deal with we'll come back and get the Cut 3 at some other point, because right now we need the Skuntank and we need a Bastiodon. So, and well, I mean, like I said, I could replace the Muck, I could replace the Cherrim, I could, true, but I kind of like the fact that I've gone through this while keeping those two Pokemon that we're going to need for side quests intact. It's just kind of, it saves time in the long run, so it's just nice to not have to capture them again, just already have them ahead of time, a little bit of forethought. But yeah, the 3-cut would be nice. If I really ever need a 3-cut for anything, I'll come back and grab the Umbreon. Like I said, by the time we can really ever do anything with the 3-cut, we should have access to plenty of other 3-cuts anyway. They're not going to be that uncommon soon enough, so as much as I could use this, there's really no reason to go out of my way to do so right now. I'm not going to get any benefit from it. So, Skuntank, Bastiodon, with those two Pokemon, we're actually now able to access the end of the Chroma Ruins. So what we need to do is head back up here, through the hole we fell down before with a Tackle 3. We'll be able to use that Tackle 3 to head forward, and then the Skuntank will eventually be needed to progress after that. Actually fairly soon, so Bastiodon cannot actually reach the thing from this angle. What, seriously? The wall actually blocks the... Really? You have to have line of sight in this game? Really? I never knew that until now. That's actually interesting. Your Pokemon actually has to have a line of sight onto the thing. Okay, sure. I don't know really what that accomplishes, but I guess so you can't, like, activate things through walls for some reason. There's really rarely any chance that actually ever happens, though, but apparently it's a thing. I don't know. Sven's here, though. Hi, Sven. I finally meet you face to face. Keep our voices down, though. Okay, we'll have to be really quiet here, because things are going on. So we're gonna be really especially quiet, because he has a Luxray. He said be quiet! Why are you... Luxray? He said be quiet. Don't do your really loud cry. It's really loud and obnoxious. Anyway, so, basically there's a lot of Team Dim Sun goons. Like he said, he was pinned down by the goons. And indeed he is! Those are quite a lot of goons over there. So, they want to dig out these things called Dark Shards, which, as you remember, there was a dark crystal inside each of the Gigarimos. So, could this perhaps be where they've been harvesting these crystals, is, through here? Unfortunately, it seems like they're out of dark crystals. They only have these light-colored ones left that they're just using for jewelry and basically poaching them. So in other words, there's been some sort of evil Team Dim Sun mining operation going over here, and we're about to break it up. The only way we know how. By using disgusting Poke powers. So yeah, Darkstone's the machine, so on and so forth. But unfortunately, we discovered them a little bit too late. They've cleared all of them out, so they already have a pretty hefty supply of Gigarimo and Mini-Rimos now, which... rather unfortunate. We definitely need to stop them, and unfortunately they have a pretty good supply. So taking them all out is going to be a bit reckless. So there's a Pokemon that can produce an overwhelming stench. Would be a shame if we had it in our party already. So basically, over here, he's like, yeah, you brought the Skuntank, awesome. Another step cleared, and we're gonna use the area move. So basically, we head over to the Team Dim Sun, and we're literally gonna stink them out. Quite literally stink them out. So normally if you come here without a Skuntank around here, Sven will be like, no, don't go over there until you have a Skuntank. Get the Pokemon first. But we already have them, so we can head in here and confront Team Dim Sun. I definitely read that as Team Dim Sun Moon. I was like, what? But no, Team Dim Sun minions. Just confront them. They definitely seem to be the lowest of the low-level grunts, though. They don't even have many Rimos to challenge us. They're just kind of swarming us and blocking us off here. I mean, is it illegal to harvest crystals? I guess. I mean, they definitely seem like they're definitely the gruntiest of the grunts here, but, as you can see, if we wanted to, we could use, Skuntank's gas to flush them out. And, well, unfortunately, Keith won't let us go on until we do that, so... unleash the Skuntank! Unleash the Stink Bomb! Plug your noses, everybody. It's about to get stinky in here. Boo! Because that's the sound of farting, apparently. So he farts, and literally, that's a huge fart if it makes the entire room yellow. But apparently it makes all of the people... Keith! I thought you knew to plug your nose, too. He's running around. He's distraught as well. He's apparently totally joined Team Dim Sun. The smell is so powerful, it made him evil! No, he just was caught off guard by the stench. He runs away as well, but it also clears out all of the minions and takes care of Sven's problem. So, go us. Couldn't have gone better, indeed, but, Keith, where'd you go? There you are, Keith. So, yeah, it's a bit stinky in here. Should probably head to the new floor soon. So, yeah, Skuntank certainly knows how to create a party. So, speaking of parties, Sven now joins our party, and we can progress further into the ruins, and we're going to do just that, so... fall down this hole, and we're basically here at the end of the ruins. What we were going to do is quickly just grab a Pikachu just in case we need it, because, spoilers, we're actually about to face a boss. So, like I said, it's a fairly involved episode, probably going to be a very long episode too, just because there's not going to be a good place for me to cut it, as far as I can really tell based on the timing, but it's just kind of how it goes sometimes. Basically, we have to face a boss, and there's going to be some cutscene stuff, and then we'll be able to end things from there. So, that's the plan. If you ever hear there's a drift limb, in case you want to backtrack and head back up here for Pokemon powers or anything, but we don't really need that. We're just going to go ahead and face the boss head on. The boss being a Spiritomb. So, actually kind of a cool boss. Ghost-based boss, and really an interesting Pokemon from 4th Gen. It was a very unique Pokemon to get. Also, a Pokemon that has no weakness in-game, technically. But Spiritomb guarding something valuable. But unfortunately, it's not going to let us pass without fighting it. So, are we ready? Well, yeah, we are. Don't really feel like I need Pokemon powers for this. It's not a fairly difficult boss. Doesn't even get its own flashy thing like Drapion did. It's more of a normal sort of boss, so... it's actually very unique, though. Basically, it has these 5 points where you can, where it'll pop out of. And depending on what point it pops out of will depend on what move he actually uses. He has 5 different attacks. And the way you find it is by doing that. Also, these things will do damage. I don't know if like having resistance to Ghost or Dark will reduce that damage, but it'll also break your line, so you have to avoid those. So as you can see, lower left corner he does those beams. That corner he does the electric thing. This one he does a sort of giant sort of Z-beam thing, so on and so forth. So you basically just memorize the patterns. It'll always be a Z-beam going that direction when he comes out there, so you know how to avoid it. If he goes over there, you know he's going to shoot balls at you, so be ready to avoid those. This one, I believe, is actually the most annoying one. This is the flame that will sort of stalk you and follow you around, which is annoying and does 8 whole damage, actually. And then the middle one, he'll do the usual kind of shockwave sort of thing, so watch out for those. I forgot he does more than one round of those. So those are his 5 attacks there. So we'll know this one's going to be the electric thing. I accidentally hit one of the things, apparently. It's going to be another electric thing to dodge, so on and so forth. So he basically just does those attacks. This is going to be the Z-beam. So you basically just do damage every time you have a chance to. Just know which attacks and how to dodge them. And you can basically go from there. It's not the hardest boss. You should be very careful with your lines because you don't really have as much room to work with. That, and when he does that, you're just going to kind of have a bad time. So it'll always follow your styler point. So always just bring it where it just, you can bring basically your styler to different places to make it avoid your lines, essentially. And then this is going to be the beams, which I have to let go there or it's going to hit me. And basically we just repeat this till we win. So it's just a lengthy boss. Make sure you always get some lines on him because he does have a lot of downtime, so if you're not careful, he will actually be able to recover his HP, and you do not want that. So charge up while he's basically preparing his attack, and then basically smack him whenever you have a chance to. And you can prevent him from draining, and just deal a significant amount of damage over time. So we're about 2/3 of the way there. We just kind of keep assaulting him, and we'll be good to go. I should be able to avoid this, and I actually can, so I can keep my line going, deal a ton of extra damage. And actually he's about to do it again, so I should be able to get away with it the same thing. Barely dodged that one, and there we go. Spiritomb captured. Really unique boss. I really actually like the way this boss works, but definitely have to be a bit careful of capturing it. It can be a little bit tricky. So that gives us a ton of experience. Not quite enough for a level up, but considering we've just beaten the dungeon, we don't really need to worry about leveling up now. We can easily recharge ourselves at a recharge station at one of the towns. So, something back there. Well, what do we have to find? A lot of cutscenes, actually, so buckle up, basically. Also, something else really interesting. You'll encounter this. The steel statue. It's a 5-cut thing. There's only one Pokemon in the game that actually has 5-cut. We're not actually going to be able to access it until post-game, so that's actually something we're going to unlock post-game. But that design should look somewhat familiar. If you recognize what that design is, you'll be able to guess what kind of Pokemon we're going to be getting from that. Anyway, we head to this altar. It looks like the giant stone back here is missing. That's a giant hole. And that's probably a really giant dark crystal. So, unfortunately, it seems like Team Dimsun has access to the giant black crystal that power the mini Remon. They're going to have plenty of power now. A giant dark shadow crystal. Unfortunately, that gives them quite a lot of power and quite a lot of control. So, our foes, unfortunately, have come into quite the power source. It's going to be a bit trickier to take them down now. We can't stop their production of Gigarimos. That was kind of the hope here, was to be able to stop them from producing more Gigarimos. But, alas, we can't do that. And also, Spiritomb wasn't actually the Guardian. It was kind of a temporary, just kind of sit-in. The Guardian actually was a Darkrai. But what's happened to the Darkrai? Who defeated the Darkrai? Who could have had the power to stop a Darkrai? Why couldn't it protect the crystal? We don't actually know the answer to that right now, but something's happened to Darkrai, something's happened to the Shadow Crystal, and all we know is that Team Dimsun's probably behind it. So, how are we going to do? What are we going to do? Well, like I said, the war against Dimsun is not even close to over yet. Sven's not quite happy about that. He must be laughing. The boss of Team Dimsun. Who is the boss anyway? Would it be Kincaid? Is there someone higher up than him? We don't actually know yet, so more and more questions to be answered. Unfortunately, as we came down here, it left us more things to answer than, there are more things to question than answers that we got. I messed that phrase up terribly. Whatever. We jump down here and we can actually climb this ladder and, continue on with a few more cutscenes and find a few more clues that will lead us forward at this point because, well, at this point we're kind of at a bit of a loss as to how to combat Team Dimsun, but we find ourselves in an abandoned shack in the Chroma Highlands. Very interesting old shack. And the sign apparently says, Altru Oil. Was this where Altruing actually started? What does Altruing have to do with the Shadow Crystal and the Chroma Ruins? Well, there apparently seems to be some sort of connection between them. That's something we're going to find out as we go here. So let's go ahead, head in here. What are you doing, Keith? How's it going? So this was Altru a long time ago, where Altru got its beginnings 70 years ago, several generations ago. We actually saw the different generations back there. Also, by the way, there's a toilet up here. Very exciting, so, I mean, because that's relevant. Why not add a toilet? But the thing we're looking for here is basically this very obvious-looking journal. It's a badly burdened diary, which you can kind of try to make out some words about oil and stuff, new oil things need to be struck, but they apparently didn't have a lot of funds. They're having apparently some struggles early on, disheartened. Basically, things are just going poorly, but they keep digging further, and he fears the future of Almia and the future of the energy of Almia, but he uncovers some dark stones. A very dark, alluring light about darkness and other sorts of things. So there definitely seems to be a bit of a tie between Altru and the dark shadow crystal. The answer to some sort of energy problem forever. Apparently he wanted to use the shadow crystal to have perpetual energy, so that was his original dream. But appears Team Dimson has had different plans with that dream, and instead they're using it to control Pokemon for evil purposes. Is there a connection? Well, like I said, more questions to be answered, and we will answer them over time. So this journal definitely important. We're going to take it back to us. We've found some sort of clue, but we also have the toilet flushing. It's actually someone we recognize from Ranger School, who's also apparently joined Team Dimson. It's, if you remember correctly, it's Ponte, or the guy whose name I didn't really know how to pronounce. The green-haired, conflicted marshmallow boy, as Keith calls him. So unfortunately, he didn't really become a ranger after Ranger School. He became a Team Dimson member. Why would you do this? And now he's in the bathroom, apparently. Why are you evil? Well, actually, he's not that evil. He's in the Team Dimson thing, but apparently, conflicted marshmallow boy, as always, he quit quite quickly, and he just apparently kept the clothes, and now he lives in this house that has a working toilet, it has food. He just apparently lives in an old abandoned shack. Ponte, you really need higher ambitions in life. You're you joined an evil cult, then you decide to just become a homeless person and live in a shack. That's not how it works, but apparently Team Dimson's slogan is a bright future for Almia. Interesting that Team Dimson would talk about a bright future. And where have we heard those words before? Like I said, even more questions. Even more questions. So, yeah, unfortunately, we just barely missed the Shadow Crystal. He just dug it up a couple days ago. Hard work, and that's apparently why I quit, because heaven forbid Ponte do any sort of work around here. And he's going to ponder his future. He's going to work on the canned food. Sven, he really doesn't have it figured out, but we'll let it slide. So we asked about the giant hunk of coal, or, well, probably the Shadow Crystal. Took away by helicopter. He's not sure where they went, though. No clue who the higher-ups are. Unfortunately, being the lowest of the grunts, he doesn't have much information we can use, but they also took off a big shipping container that has cries coming from it. So apparently they kidnapped some sort of Pokemon as well. Could have been that Darkrai they were talking about, but how did they capture it? I don't know. Oh, Sven, you're so polite. So with that, we have some information about Team Dimson. We have a lot of questions to be answered. Is there a connection between Dimson and Altru Inc? Is there a connection between the Shadow Crystal and Altru Inc? What do we know? Lots of things that we need to have answers to. And what other mysteries lie in this diary? There's a lot of things we need to figure out, but for now, guys, we've successfully helped Sven, and that's going to be mission clear for us. So, yep, mission clear. We've now succeeded in yet another mission. Quite the long episode, but that's okay. I think I might actually end up having to find a way to split this into two, but we're gonna go ahead and get this diary to Professor Hastings' hands, but we're gonna take care of that next episode, guys, because, well, as usual, when you complete a mission, there's gonna be, a couple other things, the usual stuff to do. Basically, once again, we're gonna have a bunch of quests. Keith comes up with some arbitrary excuse to leave us alone because, well, also, by the way, this, does indicate Outru Oil, so very old and illegible sign, but yeah. As expected, as always, now that we've completed a mission, we have quests available. In fact, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different quests to do. So we're going to go ahead and report to Professor Hastings and take on all 6 of these quests in the next episode, guys. For now, this is LuckySevenDX signing out. See you guys in the next episode of Pokemon Rangers Shadows of Almia. Bye-bye.